They have 3 furlongs to run. Gavea, Midnight Mammoth have been going at it. Midnight Mammoth gets the upper hand on him now, as Smart Mo will angle out to try and run down Midnight Mammoth. Midnight Mammoth means business with a quarter of a mile to go. A 3-length lead on Smart Mo, who clear cut second now. Gavea back to third. They turn for home, and Midnight Mammoth with a 3-length lead. Smart Mo chasing him gamely in second. 5 back, I don't get it, trying to rally into third. They're coming to the 16th pole. Midnight Mammoth and Tyler Bays by 3.5 over Smart Mo. Midnight Mammoth strong past the 16th pole and proves too good. Midnight Mammoth, a decisive W. Smart Mo second. Gavea somehow held third in front of I Don't Get It and Low Expectations. Goes in. They're in the gate. And they're off. It's a very quick start for Automax. Justify My Dreams has good speed. Down at the rail, Carson Jen is in the mix through the opening furlong, too. And just behind them, Not a Sinner is close up in fourth. They're followed by Disposition, fifth, and 4 lengths off the speed. Wicked Desire is next in front of Princess Midnight. Glamora in the pink is down at the rail, racing 2 clear of Lovin' on the Run. And Upcharge at the back, clear of Sophisticate. Past the half-mile pole. And it is Justify My Dreams between rivals just in front. Automax, Carson Jen at the rail, third. A length and a half to Not a Sinner in fourth. A 3-wide Disposition moves up, takes the third spot midway on the far turn. Following her is Princess Midnight heading toward the quarter pole. And now they're at that quarter pole with Justify My Dreams just in front. Automax has been pressing the entire journey. These two swing for home. Not a Sinner is coming after them now, and a split for Princess Midnight. One from the rail. Princess Midnight is battling with Not a Sinner inside the final 1/8 of a mile. Lovin' on the Run is closing fast in the center of the race course. It's Princess Midnight just in front. Princess Midnight pulls off the upset. Second to Not a Sinner. Then it was between Lovin' on the Run and Glamora, with Sophisticate coming from well out of it to take fifth. Thirsty. We're all in line. And they're off. Carol's Comic stumbled badly as the gate opened. Dad Star in the center of the course is the first one out of the gate. Crypto Craze, Thales along the inside. They're passed by Good and Thirsty, who's on the far outside, along with Pat's Paddock Pick. Those two go on with it, with the Big Cheezola now racing in fifth, 3 lengths off the lead. Thales under a tight hold, racing on the inside of DDS Express. It's a gap of 5 to L'Enfant D, Carol's Comic, Costoso, and leading the pace is at the back of a strung out field. It's Pat's Paddock Pick and Good and Thirsty going at it. The Big Cheezola 3 wide in third, followed by Dad Star along the rail in fourth. Crypto Craze has 5 lengths to make up as they reach the top of the stretch. Pat's Paddock Pick goes on with it, leads it by a length and a half now. In the center of the track, Thales is really coming with a ferocious late bid, and he's coming smartly. Here comes Thales on the outside. Thales head and head with L'Enfant D, who has surfaced. Thales, L'Enfant D. Thales, L'Enfant D. Photo finish. Heads bobbing up and down. Either Thales or L'Enfant D. Behind them, the Big Cheezola, Crypto Craze, and Pat's Paddock Pick. $805.40. Up next, race 7, started the 50-cent late pick 5. Post time on the board is in 23 minutes. And Mongolian Altai. And they're off. Belmont Bill is very quick. Hot Legs Romolo. Jeweled Shillelagh comes away in good order, and Caribbean King is just behind them. Promissio is next. Pioneer Prince well spotted on the fence. 3 clear of Kid Pistolero. Mongolian Altai. Derecho Dandy. Smooth Salute is third last into the first turn. Neshoba's Joy and Mighty Kai is at the back of the field. It's Belmont Bill leading by a length and a half. Hot Legs Romolo second. Pioneer Prince. Jeweled Shillelagh on the outside takes third. Then it's Caribbean King in fifth, 5 lengths off the lead, followed by Promissio. And on the inside of him comes Sir Pistolero with the orange silks. Mongolian Altai heads the next flight, followed by Derecho Dandy, Smooth Salute, Neshoba's Joy, and Mighty Kai. They have less than a half mile to go, and it's Belmont Bill, uncontested up top. Has it by 2 lengths over Hot Legs Romolo and Jeweled Shillelagh. Pioneer Prince biding his time while saving ground along the rail, 3 lengths off the leaders. Then it's a 3-wide Promissio. Caribbean King is racing in between those two. Mongolian Altai is next. Derecho Dandy 3 deep. Those two right behind Kid Pistolero as the field turns for home. Belmont Bill, the leader. Hot Legs Romolo. Pioneer Prince awaiting racing room has none of it at this stage. In the meantime, Jeweled Shillelagh, Promissio on the outside. And in behind this group, Caribbean King. It's a driving finish. Hot Legs Romolo between horses. Outside Promissio. Promissio surges late. Promissio wins it. Belmont Bill was second. Jeweled Shillelagh and Neshoba's Joy was absolutely motoring and ended up fourth. The gate. And they're off to a clean start. Corso's Pick is the fastest out of the gate. Tour Player has good early speed. Here comes Visceral smartly along the inside. And Flight with Honor is up close in between rivals. Then comes Sully, extreme outside. Santarena is 4 lengths off the lead. Down at the rail, Eagle's Flight is in a little bit of a tight spot. It's a gap of 5 to Le Mans and Atitlan at the back of the field. They're heading into the far turn behind the gray. Corso's Pick, who's being challenged now. Santarena on the outside and Tour Player in between makes it 3 of them vying for command. Sully is forced to go 4 deep. Then Visceral. Flavien Prat takes Eagle's Flight about 4 lengths off the lead. He's 1 from the outside, threading through traffic, though. He's got a clear shot now as the field turns for home. Santarena with the experience, and Eagle's Flight is coming after him with 3/16 of a mile to go. Santarena and Eagle's Flight square off at the 8th pole. Santarena digging in. Eagle's Flight straightens up, though, and powers past coming to the 16th pole. And the hype is real. Eagle's Flight strides out beautifully to score by 3. Santarena gave him all he had, but he was second best and no match for Eagle's Flight. Then it was Sully, followed home by Visceral, and it was a long way back. Tour Player was in a battle to complete the super high 5. The running time, a crisp 1:10.07. Pick 4 pays $51,487.50. The 9th is the Grade 1 Gamely. They'll be at the gate in 22 minutes. They're in the gate. And they're off in the Gamely. Even start. Not much pace on early, so Ruby Nell will get a very easy lead. Olivia Meralda comes away in second, and Linda's Gift is close up in third as they pass the stands the first time. Anisette is next. At the rail, Uncorked, who bobbled slightly out of the gate, is 4 lengths off the lead. Then it's a 3-wide Forever After All. Justique second to last, and Nadette is 8 lengths off Ruby Nell. Under Edwin Maldonado, just loping along through the opening quarter mile, leads it by 2 to Linda's Gift, a tracking second. At the rail, Olivia Meralda is a clear-cut third. Anisette is fourth, now about 6 or 7 off of Ruby Nell, who sprints away. Ruby Nell is suddenly 5 lengths in front. Uncorked, Forever After All are next, Justique and Nadette. Ruby Nell, saying, "Catch me if you can," has built up a commanding margin. Linda's Gift is 7 lengths back in second. Olivia Meralda third. Anisette biding her time, gets a little bit of a nudge as they get closer to Ruby Nell moving into the far turn. Uncorked, Forever After All, Justique, and Nadette. Rubinell with a 3-length lead midway on the far turn. Linda's Gift is second. Olivia Meralda asked for a bit more at the rail. Anisette 5 off the pace. Then Forever After All outside Uncorked Justique. And the trailer Nadette top of the stretch. Rubinell's lead down to 2. Olivia Meralda now takes aim in second. Anisette on the outside. Here's Anisette and Olivia Meralda. These two go on with it as Rubinell backs out. It's Anisette or Olivia Meralda. Nose and nose. Anisette with the advantage. Anisette and Umberto Rispoli to win the game lead. Olivia Meralda fired a big shot in second. Behind them, Forever After All, Nadette was on the scene late. In the gate. And they're off in the Hollywood Gold Cup. Subsanador blasts out of the gate very rapidly. Reincarnate has good speed. Those two have sprinted clear. Judge Miller will track them from third as they come by the stands for the first time. Arrow the Great is fourth in the center of the racetrack. Mr. Fisk reserved early on at the back of the field. Mixto second to last, and Oviac Class trails. Reincarnate comes through to take the lead away from Subsanador. Judge Miller 3 off the pace in third. They're followed by Arrow the Great in fourth, and Mr. Fisk gets a little bit closer along the inside as they head to the 6 furlong pole. Mixto remains second to last. Oviac Class at the back. It's Juan Hernandez and Reincarnate controlling the pace up top, leading by a length and a half. Subsanador is second. Another 2, Judge Miller, Mr. Fisk, stride for stride. Arrow the Great follows them 5 lengths off the lead. Then it's Mixto and Oviac Class. No change in the running order past the 5/8 pole in the Hollywood Gold Cup, and it's Reincarnate a half a length in front. Subsanador second. Mr. Fisk has made steady headway. He's under a nice hold at the rail. And outside of him, Judge Miller is fourth with less than a half mile to travel. Arrow the Great has lost some ground. Mixto is just inside of him. Oviac Class has trailed throughout. 3/8 of a mile to go. Reincarnate ahead to Subsanador. Judge Miller is called on now with a 3-wide bid. Mr. Fisk awaits racing room and a cue. Mr. Fisk loaded at this stage, just needs to find running room. A big gap back to Mixto. They're a quarter of a mile from home. Reincarnate at the rail. Mr. Fisk crying out for a way to get through. Subsanador bows out. Judge Miller on the outside. There's an 1/8 of a mile to go, and here comes Mr. Fisk. Has to get by his stablemate Reincarnate. These two square off in the Gold Cup, and Mr. Fisk is up to take the lead. Reincarnate fighting hard, but the best horse is Mr. Fisk. Mr. Fisk pulls away to win the Hollywood Gold Cup under Kazushi Kimura. Reincarnate, valiant in defeat. Then it was Judge Miller, followed by Subsanador and Mixto. C is next. Racing right next to Irideo, who's 10 lengths off the lead. Stretch runners De Jour and Easter are at the back of the field as Goliad sprints up on the outside of Fantastic Again to take the lead. It's Goliad in front. Fantastic Again concedes in second. Conclude third. Dominican Pioneer now fourth, taking the third spot. Down at the rail, Air Force Red. Johannes is 7 or 8 lengths off the lead with a half mile to go in the Shoemaker Mile. Another 2 back to there goes Harvard. Down at the rail, War at Sea, Air Force Reds in front of that pair. Irideo is starting to inch up a little bit. Still a gap of 3.5 to De Jour. And Easter is yet to do his best running. It's Goliad, fantastic again. 1-2 coming to the quarter pole with Johannes looming, splitting rivals and coming after them now. De Jour winding up. He'll be extremely wide as the field turns for home. Johannes gets the first jump. He comes after and tackles. Fantastic again. Who's fighting hard in the center of the course. De Jour is eating up ground. Johannes neck and
Can you believe there are just 10 more racing days left here at the Santa Anita Winter Spring Meet? Unbelievable how time flies, but nevertheless, those 10 racing days mean that you can make a score. And speaking of scores, what about our card on Memorial Day weekend? Do you remember playing that? Multiple graded stake races, crazy results. And our seminar guest today, he capitalized on some of those crazy results. He walked in here with $1,500. He walked out of here with $700, I should say. $21,700 was his final bankroll. But who's counting that small piece of change? $21,000 is what he turned his bankroll into. His name, Bill Wolf. Bill, welcome to the seminar. Happy Friday.
Right on.
It's great to have you here. Now, let me ask you a question. How long have you been playing the horses, Bill?
Since late 1978.
So what is that? Doing my math quickly, around close to 50 years almost,
40,
give or take. 44.
Yeah.
44. How did it all begin? Did your parents bring you to the track? Did you just stumble in here?
One of my friends brought me out here and showed me a racing form. And the second day I came, I hit a $300 exacta for $5 and said, "This is for me."
You thought it was an easy game, right? It only cost you $1 million over those over that course of the 44
More
years.
than that, probably.
Does your friend still come to the track? Is he still with us?
Yeah.
Do I know him by chance?
You've seen him.
Okay. All right. You were born and raised in Southern California.
Yeah, I was born in Pasadena.
Nice, nice. Did you ever own any horses?
No, well, with my racehorse, I've had a few, but
Doesn't count.
Yeah, it doesn't really count. That's not enough.
Well, let's talk about Monday. You actually bought into the $1,500 San Anita Express Bet tournament, and you wound up finishing second. Let's take a look at the final standings, and it'll reflect your final balance of $17,028. And in addition to that, there you are in second place, Bill. In addition to that, you won prize money of $4,700 plus an NHC seat. Inquiring minds want to know, how'd you turn your $1,500 into $17,000? Let's kind of walk through it, because it didn't all happen in one race. But in race number 5, Joe Herrick saddled a horse that you liked. Ironically, the horse went off at 45-1 and paid $96 and change. The runner's name, it was a 4-year-old filly, was the name Princess Midnight. What did you like about Princess Midnight in race number 5?
Well, the horse looked like it could be competitive in the race, and I thought it had a chance. It was coming off a little layoff, had decent works. Looked like it had a chance, so I took a chance.
Are you typically a long shot player, or do you just kind of play the race the way it comes up?
Generally, I don't like to play the favorites.
But you will, if the situation dictates it.
If I really believe the favorite's the right horse, I'll use the favorite. But if I don't believe the favorite's the right horse, I look elsewhere.
Makes sense. Now, you had some of your bankroll on Princess Midnight, who paid $96 to win for a $2 wager. But that wasn't enough. In the very next race, race number 6, Gus Headley saddled a winner who went off at 17-1, paid $36.20. All you did was have a little daily double on that.
Yes.
And what did that pay?
$1,097 for $2.
What's wrong with that?
Nothing at all.
So at that point, after race number 6, you still weren't done wagering. But roughly speaking, what was your bankroll at that point?
I think it was about 13,000.
Okay, so
change.
So your damage wasn't done yet. You still had to make another $4,000 before the end of the day. But at the end of the day, there weren't a whole lot of long shots, but it did become kind of formful and very chalky. Specifically in race number 8, the first-time starter, the half brother to Flightline, Eagles Flight, wound up winning at even money. That was your first leg of the daily double. That horse paid $4.20.
Yeah, I figured the only way I could make money with him was by betting the double.
And then in the very next race, Anisette, coming off the layoff, emerged victorious for Leonard Powell. She paid $760. How big was your double, and what did that pay, if you remember roughly?
It was a $100 daily double. It paid $15, and I got back $750.
All right, but you kept going. Then you had another double from Anisette into Mr. Fisk, who wound up winning the Grade 2 Hollywood Gold Cup. Did you have another $100 double there?
That was another $100.
What did you add to your bankroll there? About another $1,000 or so?
It paid $40.40, I think, and I got back $2,000.
Correct, because you added 50 times.
Yeah.
And then in the nightcap, Johannes from the Timioc Team Barn emerged victorious in the Grade 1 Shoemaker Mile. You won probably about another $2,000 on that daily double.
$1,750.
What's wrong with that?
Not a thing.
So you wound up with $17,000, as I mentioned. You wound up with another $4,000 in prize money. But you're a big advocate, Bill, of tournaments. I see you out here at the track a lot, and generally they coincide with tournaments. For players out there watching who have never played in a tournament, why are tournaments such an important part of why you come to the races?
Well, it has to do with like a pick 4, a pick 5, a pick 6. There's always one horse you just don't see and you always miss. But in a tournament, you can just hit a couple races and win a tournament. You don't have to hit every race on the day. It just, you pick the right ones, you win. You don't pick the right ones, you don't. It's a lot more fun, I think, than
everyday play.
Yeah.
Sure.
You know.
In addition to your $21,000 that you walked out of here with, you also earned an NHC seat. Have you ever been to the National Handicapping Championship in Las Vegas?
Yeah.
Have you participated in it?
3 times.
How have you done those 3 times? What's your best finish?
Up
the track?
Hundreds. In the hundreds.
But it's a lot of fun.
Oh, it's an experience you'll never believe.
For the people who have never been, tell them why that is, because I've been many times. I've seen you there. But what is it about the experience that kind of exhilarates you?
Well, you got 600 people in a room, all madly playing the races, doing their best for handicapping, trying to pick winners, and you meet new people from all over the country, and it's just a exciting, fun time. I mean, the first time I went there, I was, what would you say?
Blown away?
Yeah, I didn't do hardly anything that time because I was just like in shock from all the things. My friends that have been there multiple times, you know, they were used to it, but it was like, wow. It's
like a horse who's a first-time starter, right? You can't anticipate the experience, and a lot of times that's why horses improve second time out, because they finally figure out what's going on around them. It's similar feeling you had at the NHC.
Yeah.
And were you there when Jose Arias actually happened to win? I know that your friend Mark was there.
No, I was here that day.
But I'm sure you were getting reports on Jose winning the
yeah.
whole kit and caboodle and walking out of there with $750,000.
Oh, we were cheering big time for him. That was for sure.
No
He
doubt.
was a good guy.
He sure was, and God rest his soul. We're going to take a quick break. We're going to find out who the lucky winner Bill Wolf likes on today's card. We'll see if he can make us $21,000. Even if he can't and makes us a couple $100, we'll consider that a success. But before we do any of that, let's toss the microphone over to track announcer Frank Miramati and get the minimal amount of scratches on today's Friday's card here at the Great Race Place.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Santa Anita Park, the Great Race Place. The track is fast and the turf course is firm, the rail on the turf at 30 feet. In the first race, started the early pick 5, scratch number 3, Lucky Nia. Number 7, She's My Flame, carries 1 pound over. There's no super high 5 with that scratch in race 1. In the second, scratch number 3, Lambo. The third starts the $1 pick 6. We'll have a rider to be announced for number 5, Escape Plan. The fourth starts the late pick 5 and the all-turf pick 3. All-turf pick 3 on races 4, 6, and 8. No changes. The fifth starts the late pick 4, just a blinker note. There are no changes in the sixth race. In the sixth race, note that the super high 5 carryover from last week, the first high 5 race is race 6. There's 16,300. That's definitely the best betting opportunity on the program. 7-horse field in the sixth with 16,300 in the super high 5 carryover. You're looking for value. That's the definition. In the seventh, number 6, Lady Cruiser, 1 pound over. And in race 8, number 9, Back on Track, 1 pound over. Enjoy your day at the Great Race Place. Free admission, $3 beers, $5 margaritas, every Friday during the Hollywood Meet. Post time for the opener is in 58 minutes at 1 p.m. Let's go back to Quigley's Corner. Tom's special guest today is Bill Wolf.
Welcome back. We're talking horse with horse player Bill Wolf. He played in the $1,500 Santa Anita Express Bet Memorial Day tournament this past Monday. Everyone bought in for $1,500. Bill wound up with $17,028 plus another $4,700 in prize money. All of that money was his to keep. He wound up winning $21,700 plus an NHC seat, as you might have heard in the opening. Bill, 8 races today, including race number 6, as we heard track announcer Frank Miramati say. Super high 5 carryover. Nobody had in the last race, even with Johannes winning on Monday. Therefore, the carryover going into race 6 with a field size of 7 or more is 16,300. We'll get to that in a moment, but first of all, first things first, in race number 1, it's for the babies, maiden special weight 2-year-old fillies. We're on the turf course. The rails today are at 30 feet, and this is the first grass race in Southern California for the 2-year-olds this year. Race 1 begins the popular 50-cent early pick 5 as well. 1 scratch the 3, Lucky Neal, leaves us with a field of 6. 3 of them are trained by Doug O'Neill, including the morning line favorite and the current betting choice at 3 to 5 is number 2, Lee's Baby Girl. As we often do with these baby races, we want to get a better understanding of what's going on. So I pulled some workout video courtesy of our friends at xbtv.com to try and decipher who might win this race. The complication is this race is on turf. All these workouts, of course, will be on the main track. But let's kick things off watching a workout for number 1, Running Rio from the Luis Mendez barn. Running Rio is going to break from the gate here and is going to be down on the inside. This was back on May 15th, and you can see the work they kind of go basically hand in hand down the backside. 48 and change for both runners when the dust settles, going 4 furlongs. As we're watching the workout continue, and again, keep in mind, Running Rio is down on the inside. There's really no turf breeding in the pedigree. The The dam never started on turf. I can tell you this. She's had 4 foals to race. One of them was a first-time winner, and that winner happened at Saratoga on the main track in a maiden special weight race for New York breds. You can see Running Rio. It is also a New York bred. So the jury's out whether or not Running Rio might like the turf course, but we can see she's certainly got plenty of early speed, and breaking from the rail, she's going to need Ricky Gonzalez in the saddle. So Running Rio, 3-1 on the morning line and currently 5-1 on the tote board. We'll see what Running Rio can do. Now, all eyes are on number 2, Lee's Baby Girl, and this is an interesting team gate drill back on May 26th, I should say, because Lee's Baby Girl is the outside in the gray. And take a look at her workmate, who her workmate is. Her workmate is number 5, What About Q? So you get 2 for the price of 1 here. And you can see, again, based on the time, that Lee's Baby Girl certainly is working much faster than Running Rio did. It looks like perhaps What About Q might pull up alongside here and basically finish the work even. But you'll see in a moment or two, Lee's Baby Girl has a lot more left in the tank and draws away from What About Q. So of these 2 O'Neill runners, and as I mentioned earlier, there's 3 in the race, I think you have to favor Lee's Baby Q, Tonio Fresu in the saddle. Here's some more pedigree information about Lee's Baby Girl. The dam has thrown 8 first-time starters, 1 win, 1 second, and 1 third. So a bit of precocity there. The 1 winner was on the main track at Monmouth Park, winning a maiden special weight race as well. So again, the jury is out whether or not Lee's Baby Girl will like the turf course, but that's the jigsaw puzzle that we put together when we handicap. We'll see, in fact, who might emerge victorious on the turf course. As I mentioned, number 3, Lucky Nia scratched. Number 4, Running on Promises, already has 1 effort. It was a decent effort, but again, there's no turf pedigree, no turf influence in the pedigree. We just saw number 5, What About Q, work in company with Lee's Baby Girl. So that brings us down to number 6, Press Your Luck. Press Your Luck, again, worked in a team drill out of the gate. This was back on May 25th, and Press Your Luck will be on the outside in the blue cap. And the one thing that caught my eye here, again, taking note of the time, is that Press Your Luck was asked for a lot of early speed coming out of the gate. You could see the exercise rider down on his or her belly, asking the horse for a lot of speed. But make no mistake, the better of the 2 workers here is Dr. Ruben M. I'm excited to see Dr. Ruben M run in the future simply off this workout. It appears that Dr. Ruben M has a lot of ability, not to take nothing away from Press Your Luck, but she is a Calbred running against open company in today's field, and I think she's probably going to have to pick up her feet a lot more than what she displayed in this workout just 7 days ago in order to compete. As I mentioned, Dr. Ruben M drawing off very impressively. Excited to watch that horse's debut. Last but not least, the bottom runner in the field, number 7, She's My Flame, trained by trainer Steve Knapp. Steve Knapp has already won with at least 2 first-time starters last weekend, if you recall, and here's one of them. Rumble King on the outside, She's My Flame on the inside. You'll remember Rumble King emerged victorious on debut. So She's My Flame, who's down on the inside here, is keeping very good company. This workout was back on May 9th. And again, you can see the time wasn't quite as fast as Lee's Baby Girl, but nevertheless, both of them are doing it quite easily. Here's an interesting statistic on the dam. The dam, believe it or not, the dam of She's My Flame, had 76 career starts, and not one of them was on the turf course. And she's thrown 2 first-time starters with 1 emerging victorious. That 1 win was at Tampa Bay Downs in a maiden $25,000 claiming event. So again, not a lot of turf pedigree in this field, but you can see just based the way She's My Flame is going in hand with Rumble King, a recent maiden special weight winner, on her outside, that she certainly has a lot of ability. I kind of make the race, Bill, 1, 2, and 7 based off those workouts. We can see you're taking a different approach, and you like number 5, What About Q? What is it about What About Q that you like?
Well, the breeding seems to be okay. O'Neill had 3 horses in the race. I sort of like the name of What About Q, so I went there. Edwin Maldonado's been riding good, especially on the turf. Yeah, see what happens.
Fair enough. Let me ask you a question, Bill. When it comes to baby races where we don't have a lot of data, do you look at pedigree? Do you look at workout reports, or will you consider baby races one of your weaknesses in your handicapping arsenal?
Usually, mainly I focus on workouts, and then sometimes I look at the Tomlinson numbers on the DRF to see where they are on turf, and that can guide me a little bit if it's a turf race. But
fair enough. 5 and 1. What About Q and Running Rio in that order for our seminar guest, Bill Wolf. Let's turn the page, Bill. Take a look at race number 2. Begins the 50-cent early pick 4. We're sprinting 6 furlongs in the main track for $32,000 claimers. 1 scratch the 3 Lambo. Leaves us with a field of 5. The runner on the bottom lands down first off the claim for trainer Steve Knapp is the 5-2 Maury Line favorite. Talk to us about race 2.
Well, I think Lansdowne is the outside controlling speed. And if he gets a good break and doesn't get used up too much, he should be the winner.
Now, we know you like to play daily doubles based upon your tournament success this past Monday. Would you be playing any daily doubles in these first two races, or would you be playing a 50-cent early pick five? Like if you were coming out here on a normal, regular day, how would you attack the first couple of races on today's card?
I'd probably be playing the pick five.
Gotcha. And do you, we've got relatively small fields today. Would you press it? In other words, would you play a straight pick five for maybe a couple bucks rather than just a 50-cent minimum? Or would you buy a couple of races? How would you kind of attack it?
I would probably just go in light and play the two horses in each race, maybe one if I felt strongly about it, but not too many. Don't like to buy races too much.
Gotcha. 6 and 2, excuse me, 6 and 2 in race number 2. Let's take a look at race number 3. Another baby race, this time 4.5 furlongs in the main track. Race 3 on today's 8-race card also begins the $1 pick 6, and race 3 is a race for maiden special weight Calbred 2-year-olds. A field of 5, the jockey to be announced on number 5, the heavy morning line favorite number 4, R. Heisman, who's 2-5 on the morning line. We'll get to R. Heisman in a moment, but before we do, similar pattern that we just did, or similar exercise that we just did for race number 1, and that is look at some workouts for some of the first-time starters, including the horse on the rail, number 1, Nap. This is a son of I'll Have Another, obviously a Calbred, and this is a team drill on May 6th, and Nap is going to be on the outside here, and I actually like the way Nap is working here. You can see he's doing it relatively easily. The rider is kind of standing up in the stirrups. He's not being asked. The time is legit. He's a first-time starter. He's unfortunately down on the rail. This work was back on May 6th. There's been 3 subsequent works since this video, but nevertheless, I just like the way he's doing it. He's well off the rail. He's got a little bit of high leg action there that you can see, maybe indicating that, in fact, he might like the turf course down the road, but I just thought this was a very workmanlike drill for a debut starter. From a pedigree standpoint, the dam has thrown 3 first-time starters. None of them have hit the board up to this point, but I think 6-1 and likely to go higher with our Heisman might be a way to play the race, because again, I think this is just a nice, easy drill, very professional from a first-time starter. Now let's give ahead to number 4, our Heisman, because all eyes are going to be on our Heisman. You can see this was a private purchased by Gary Barber, the owner, and Peter Miller, the trainer, and it's understandable why, because our Heisman finished second in the fastest 2-year-old race of the meet up to this point. There's been 7 2-year-old races on the main track. This was the fastest one. The winner is actually going to go to Kentucky and run in a stakes race. But let's watch our Heisman in action. He's going to break from the rail. He's going to get kind of all bottled up at the beginning and lose all chance of winning. Finishes a pretty good second, well clear of the 3rd place horse. Listen to Frank Miramai describe the action and focus our eyes on the rail horse back on May 3rd. That would be our Heisman, who's number 4 today.
And they're off. It's a very quick start for Bodacious, who's hard-ridden for that early speed. Mr. Machu Picchu comes away in good order second. How about Pavel on the inside of Cernano? Cernano takes 3rd. Our Heisman is in a tough spot at this stage, 5th and 7 lengths off Bodacious, who flies around the far turn. 3 more to keep Dancenik and a Votresante at the back of the field. Bodacious blazes to the quarter pole. Now our Heisman guided off the rail and starts to close powerfully into second. At the rail, Mr. Machu Picchu there at the top of the stretch, and Bodacious hugs the rail with a commanding lead. Our Heisman 6 back in second, a 16th to go, and Bodacious well clear. A nice effort from our Heisman, but only for second, as Bodacious smokes him by 6. Second.
Bill, Bodacious, no one was going to beat that debut starter from the Jorge Paraban barn ridden by Tyler Bays on that particular afternoon. But we saw in the replay, our Heisman had a bit of trouble, finished a good second after breaking from the rail, now draws outside. That's all the good news. The bad news is the dam hasn't been very precocious. She's had 2 other foals to race. They're a combined 1 for 26 lifetime, but our Heisman has already outrun them in terms of a buyer speed figure performance. So it appears that our Heisman is the most talented of the runners that she's thrown up to this point. Last but not least, we want to look at a workout on May 26th for the bottom runner, number 5, Escape Plan. Escape Plan is going to be here on the break from the outside in the blue cap, but kind of gets caught up in a tangle, and you can see drifts in, ducks toward the rail, and now winds up on the inside. But Escape Plan is going to be the runner in the blue cap, and this, in my opinion, was a bit of a disappointing effort. You can see the other workmate is being asked quite vigorously to show some early speed. Escape Plan not so much after that tardy break, but the distance widens here. Escape Plan although he's drawn outside and he's a son of Am, is going to have to improve today. That's for sure off this workout. The dam has thrown 8 first-time starters. None of them have hit the board. So I would consider Escape Plan to be a long shot, particularly in comparison to the likelihood of our Heisman winning. Those are the replays and the workout videos, Bill. And we can see you're not getting fancy. You like our Heisman on top. Tell us why.
He had enough trouble to think he deserves a second chance. He gets J.J. Hernandez on him now. I'd be surprised if he doesn't win that race.
But you also like Knapp, who I mentioned is from the Antonio Garcia barn. What was it about Knapp that you liked besides the workout video?
Oh, he had a couple of good works. Antonio Garcia's been doing pretty good.
He sure has.
And, I figured take a chance with him. None of the others really enthuse me, so...
Fair enough. Our Heisman, as I mentioned, 2 to 5 on the morning line, likely to go lower. We'll see. That's why they run the race, but certainly looks like the most likely winner on today's card. Let's turn the page, Bill. Take a look at race number 4. Begins the 50-cent late pick 5. It also begins the $3 all turf pick 3 sequence, and we're fast and firm, of course, today here in Arcadia, California. We kick things off in the 50-cent late pick 5, going 1 mile on the turf course. This is for Calbred 3-year-old fillies. Calbred 3-year-olds, Colts and Geldings, and it's an allowance optional claiming race, non-winners of 1 other than. We've got a field of 5. Number 4, Known Idea from the John Sadler barn, is the 9 to 5 morning line favorite. This looks to be a little bit of a competitive race. Who do you like and why?
I like Refocus because I think all the other horses pretty much have speed, and if he can sit behind them and wait till they get to the stretch, he might be able to take them in the stretch.
Fair enough. And you also give a little love to number 5, Traveling Show, fresh off a victory, sprinting, now going 2 turns. You talked about maybe looking at pedigree. Do you think the son of Grazen might be able to get 2 turns, even though his effort 2 races back was a bit disappointing?
Well, I think that the jockey that day tried to take him to the lead, and he didn't appreciate that much. Hopefully he's not on the lead today, and he rates a little bit and picks up the pieces late to run second.
And your man Juan Hernandez in the saddle, taking over for Kaz Kamara, who's back up at Woodbine. Do you watch a lot of replays, Bill, when you're handicapping a day's card, or do you have a photographic memory since you follow Southern California so religiously?
No photographic memory, but I only watch replays if I think there's something in the race that happened and I want to see how good or bad it was.
Fair enough. Let's take a look at race number 5. Begins the 50-cent late pick 4. We're sprinting the abbreviated sprint distance of 5.5 furlongs on the main track. For maiden claiming, fillies and mares in for a $40,000 tag. Field of 6. Number 3, Super Enticing, is the 7 to 5 morning line favorite. Haven't seen Super Enticing since November of last year. First time Lasix. Thumbs up or thumbs down on the favorite here, Bill?
I thought that horse would probably run the best. They're all coming out of about the same class level, 2 first-time starters, but he just looked like he'd probably get the best trip and hopefully win.
What is it about number 4, Gray Light, the first-time starter, who you like and who you place second on the graphic?
I'm still trying to frost it out as a sire, see how he goes, and figured I'd give him a shot.
Frosted, of course, stands in Kentucky. Have you had the good fortune of going back to Kentucky and seeing any of the world-famous barns that are in Lexington, Kentucky, to visit some of your favorite stallions?
No, I've never.
You
I
should
went to
go.
the Kentucky Derby, though.
Which one?
This year.
Oh, that's right. You told me about that experience. Yeah. That was a lot of fun. Let's talk about that for a moment.
Oh, God, that was amazing. It's an experience you'll never forget. It's very crowded. It's a lot of people, and it's a bunch of great horse racing. It was just amazing. I'll go again.
What prompted you to go back for the first time this year? Was it your buddies that enticed you to go? You just felt like, life's too short. Let's go hit the Derby.
I turned 65 at the end of April.
Congratulations.
It was my birthday present to myself.
Nice. And you didn't regret it?
No, not at all.
Fair enough.
Had a great time.
Did you have any money on the winner, Mystic Dan?
No, I didn't.
How about the second or third place finishers that were there right there on the wire?
No, I went with Stronghold.
You're a local boy. You like the Phil D'Amato runner.
Well, I just like the runner. I don't normally play horses from California or horses from any track, particularly in the Derby. I pick who I think will win.
Fair enough. Speaking of winning, here's a statistic on number 3, Super Enticing, in race number 5, the race we were just talking about. Courtesy of Brad Freed, did you know that the Peter Miller Barn has won with 7 of his last 21 maiden claimers returning in excess of 180 days? He hits a 33% win clip, and that's exactly the category that number 3, Super Enticing, falls into in race number 5. Race number 6 is where we have the Super High 5 carryover. $16,000 is the Super High 5 carryover in race number 6, and we're going 1 mile on the turf course. $30,000 claimers, non-winners of 3 races lifetime. Number 2, Malibu Coast from the Michael McCarthy Barn is the 2-1 morning line favorite, taking a drop down in class. Give us your thoughts on race 6, Bill.
Well, I wasn't so sure that drop was going to be a good one, so I went elsewhere and I took National General. And I liked Herrera trying his hand this time, since I guess Rispoli's not around.
Rispoli's actually on a 3-day suspension. He'll be riding in our stakes race tomorrow on Saturday, but he's suspended. Actually, a matter of fact, I take that back. Today he's riding at Penn National in a stakes race. He's riding in a stakes race. Today is the Penn Mile at Penn National, a very big and lucrative day at Penn National. So Umberto is riding there today in the stakes race. You're allowed to ride stakes races if you're suspended. Tomorrow he will only ride our stakes race here, and of course he will not be riding on Sunday, but that's where Umberto Rispoli is. But as you mentioned, Diego Herrera, more than a capable replacement. What about the early speed in the race here, Bill? And when I looked at this race, I couldn't quite come up with who the pace setter might be. Do you tend to look at, the early pace whenever you handicap a race?
I always look at pace. It's an important part of a race.
So since you did that here, who do you think will go to the front? It's kind of muddled in terms of who might set the pace, and no matter who set the pace, it looks like it could be dawdling.
Well, I put down that number 7 would probably try for the lead. Limited heat wave, and I was hoping that Tom and Jazzy would get a nice break and be pressing him, and National Girl would be running in 3rd place or so and try and take him in the stretch.
Yeah, limited heat wave, as you mentioned, breaks from the far outside going a flat mile, so sometimes the jockey's hands are tied in terms of having to go for that early lead if they want the lead. That could be a blessing in today's 6th race. One more statistic, courtesy of Brad Free at the Daily Racing Form. This statistic in race number 6 relates to the trainer of number 2, Malibu Coast, Michael McCarthy. Here's another one. Did you know? Michael McCarthy has won with 20 of his last 34 starting favorites since the start of this year. That's a 58% win clip. So when the Michael McCarthy Barn breaks from the gate with a favorite, typically they wind up winning 20 out of 34 times. That has happened this year. Race number 7, we are going 1 mile on the main track for maiden claiming fillies and mares in for a $20,000 tag, a field of 7. Number 4, Warren Showgirl, the 5-year-old maiden, is the 4-5 morning line favorite. Impressive buyer speed figure last time out that towers over this field, but that number looks to be a bit of an abnormality simply because she's never run that fast before. You a big believer in the buyer speed figures, Bill?
It's a guide. I don't look at him and say, oh, that horse is going to tower over this field or anything. It's just a guide.
Fair enough. Well, what did you use as a guide in race number 7 to try and find a winner?
Well, that horse had ran 2 dynamite races since dropping into the maiden 20 claiming, and looks like it's going to run another. I'm a fan of Clubhouse Ride in California, so.
What about number 2, Nancy Griffith, taking the drop down in class and going from a sprint to a route? We can see you've got her second. What is it about her that you like?
Making a little bit of a drop, stretching out. Looks like the horse will enjoy going a little bit longer. Give her a little bit more time to get going.
Well, let's take a look at a couple of runners that I actually like in the field that are not either number 4 or 2. And it's a replay we want to watch of a race back on April 21st. Now, this race was on the turf course, and today's race is on the main track. But back on April 21st, number 1, Mineral Rights, as well as number 3, Blonzilla, both are going to exit this replay we're about to watch. Also, keep in mind, we've got a runner in race number 8, our nightcap, number 5, Quantum Energy, who's going to wind up winning this race as well. So as you're watching this replay, keep in mind, Quantum Energy, the winner, is going to be running in race number 8, the race we haven't discussed yet. But as we watch this replay, let's watch both positions number 4 and 8. Number 4 is where Blonzilla breaks from. Number 8 is where Mineral Rights breaks from. As they turn for home, you'll see all 3 of them are next to each other. Blonzilla, Mineral Rights, and Quantum Energy will all be entering the top of the stretch on the far outside. They're all next to each other. But I think Blonzilla runs pretty well. albeit on the turf course. She might be live today, taking a drop down and switching over to the main track. Rather than believing my words, let's watch the replay and listen to Frank Miramati describe the action back on April 21st.
All in. And they're off. Perfect start. Another Summer is going to battle for the lead. Run a Mile in My Shoes, a little quicker, takes the lead. Wishes to Riches is in the firing line, as is Glacier Rim. And Glacier Rim sprints right up after the leader. Ashley Sandcastle is close up through the opening furlong. Then it's Isabel Ludlow fanned out wide, as Another Summer is now just behind this group. Pulling out of the race is Be a Goldfish. Be a Goldfish has been pulled up as they round the first turn. Blonzilla has 9 lengths to make up. The 2 trailers, Quantum Energy and Warren's Paradise, now at the back. Down the back stretch, and it's Juan Hernandez and Run a Mile in My Shoes, saying, catch me if you can. Leading by a length and a half, Wishes to Riches tries to cut into the margin once again, as that lead was bigger moments ago. Glacier Rim is racing in third, followed at the rail by Another Summer and Ashley Sandcastle between rivals. Yellow Cap 4 off the lead. Mineral Rights, the first-time starter, is next by herself. Another couple back to Blonzilla, who races on the inside of Isabel Ludlow, who's losing ground. Quantum Energy outside of that pair, picking up a little bit of momentum, and Warren's Paradise. Run a Mile in My Shoes, got a breather, and opens up to lead by 4. Almost hit the rail, but is still in charge. In the center of the course, Ashley Sandcastle moves into second. They're coming to the 16th pole. Late run from Quantum Energy, too. It's Run a Mile in My Shoes, 2-length lead. Run a Mile in My Shoes. Whoa!
Bill, Quantum Energy got there in the shadows of the wire, but Blonzilla actually ran pretty well. She finished 5th, only beaten by a couple of lengths. That's the good news. The bad news is she went off at 90-1, and Mineral Rights, who finished 8th in that particular replay we watched, went off on debut at 61-1. They're going to be much shorter prices today, but they do take drops down in class. They are going from turf to dirt. They hail from relatively decent barns. This is race 7 is a bit of a scramble. I know you like Warren Showgirl, who looks to be the prohibitive favorite, but I think one of these other 2 runners might jump up and surprise the apple cart, so to speak. We close out race number 8, going 1 mile on the turf course for fillies and mares. No Golden Gate today, so of course no golden hour wagering. They will resume racing tomorrow. But race number 8 is for California bred fillies and mares, allowance optional claiming types, non-winners of 1 other than. A good field of 9. Number 3, Jesse Bear, who's returning off a March layoff from the Aggie Ordonez barn, is the 3-1 morning line favorite. Here's your guy Diego Herrera again. Talk to us about race 8, Bill.
Well, I thought there was a fair amount of speed in here. If he gets a good tracking trip, he might be able to take the lead when they turn for home, and hopefully he could hold off my other horse, the 9, Back on Track.
Number 9, Back on Track, a 3-year-old filly running against Oler, gets a jockey change as well over to Diego Pereira from the Paula Capestro barn. Any concern that Back on Track is running against Oler for the first time? Is that something you look at?
I try not to, but sometimes you got to take it into consideration this early in the year, running 3-year-olds against older horses, but I sure see enough of them win.
You sure do, particularly in these races where 3, 4, and 5-year-olds are all eligible. Bill, I want to thank you for your time and insight today. I want to wish you congratulations once again on your success in the Memorial Day tournament. More importantly, I hope you're able to play the horses for another 44 years. Congratulations on celebrating your 65th birthday. But keep up the great work. I'm sure we'll see your name on the leaderboard in a future tournament sometime real soon.
Right on.
Thanks to all of you for watching as well. Hope you enjoyed it. Next voice you hear will be track announcer Frank Miramati updating us with any late changes. Tomorrow's card, we've got 9 races, 1 o'clock p.m. post, another seminar, 11:50 a.m. Have a great afternoon, everybody, and good luck.
Ladies and gentlemen, please rise for our national anthem.